Hello beautiful beings, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. I know that you guys feel like you've seen me recently, but that's because I batch recorded a bunch of videos in December and then I went on vacation. So this is technically my first video back in 2023. So I know it's already late in the game, but Happy New Year. I wish every one of you the best. Anything good, flowery, everything pretty. I wish everything wonderful for you guys. So before we get into this video, I wanted to talk about some stuff. Keep you guys updated. You guys are like my second family, and I honestly feel like I'm constantly learning from the things that I'm going through, and as I learn, I want you guys to learn. Okay. So I went on vacation to the Dominican Republic for Christmas. So I left December 21st. I arrived the 22nd. My mom was already there. She left like right after Thanksgiving. We are Dominican. Basically my whole family. We have some family that are Puerto Rican because I also lived in Puerto Rico, so I have siblings and family members too, but for the most part we're Dominican. But I've never really lived in DR that much. I think I only lived there for 2 years. Anyway, I had a very serious death in the family last year where I lost someone very dear and close to me, and that is where we used to go and celebrate all of the holidays. She was like the matriarch of our family, and it was a really big blow to us. So I made the decision that since my mother was going to be in the Dominican Republic for Christmas, that I was going to join her there. And you know, her birthday is on Christmas Eve, and my birthday is right after on December 29th. So I had all these plans, all these things we were going to do, and some of them happened and some of them didn't go as well. So my mother had spent her 2021 year in the hospital here by herself. So that was another reason why we were pushing so hard to go spend Christmas in DR. It was so different for me because I hadn't done that in over 20 years, but I was very excited to not be in a place that is cold for once during Christmas and my birthday. So everything was going well until my birthday arrived, and I spent most of my birthday in the hospital with a family member. So that was December 29th. The following day, on the 30th, my mother and I went to the resort because we were going to go spend New Year's Eve, New Year's Day at a resort. They always say it's such an amazing experience, and I wanted to do that for her. You know, in mother and daughter time, our relationship has gotten so much better, you know, throughout the last couple of years. I've healed a lot, and from me healing, it has also healed her because she is also me pushed out. So our relationship is so much better now. And you know, we arrived at the resort on the 30th. Everything was all nice and beautiful, and we wait for the new year, and January 1st hits and my mother gets sick in the resort, and with me, like there was nobody else there. She got so sick that she actually fainted in my arms on January 1st. And I will say that I've always noticed that I'm one of those people that I am able to kind of like, when something happens, I'm able to kind of just take the emotional aspect out of things and then just do what I need to do to keep it moving. So I'm the one that always resolves things. But eventually that comes back and bites me in the ass, because the emotional aspect that I pushed out of the way so that I could continue, I could continue doing what I need to do, comes back and be like, wait, you haven't worked through this. So this is a learning experience. This is why I'm telling you guys this. So, we landed in the hospital. I was by myself with her. I didn't know, I've never really been to like hospitals in DR like that. So it was a very tough situation. Um, we arrived back to the city the next day, and like 3 days later, I'm back in the hospital with my mom. When I tell you guys, I spent 27 hours without sleeping. And I'm so fucking proud of myself, because I didn't even think that my body would even do that. I didn't think that was possible for me. Remember, I'm a person that comes from a lot of trauma, and that trauma affects the body. So I didn't even think that at this point my body was going to stretch itself that much. So when I tell you that I became so dysregulated, so dysregulated, it's like self-care is so important, but we know that emergencies happen. And when emergency happens, you need to react. Not react in a bad way, but you need to do what you need to do. You need to solve whatever you need to solve. You need to figure shit out. So, did I do any of my manifestation routines that I had planned that I was going to do while on vacation? Because I always do like challenges and techniques and stuff while on vacation, because I'm able to kind of like relax and focus more on my consistency when it comes to these things. Did I did any of that? No. Everything went to shit. All I could do as I was going through this situation was hold on and do whatever was available to me. And what that would be for me was, for example, if I was extremely anxious, if I was frustrated or upset, I would go to sleep listening to Ho'oponopono. If I would feel just emotionally exhausted, I would sleep listening to self-love, just so that I wouldn't hit rock bottom, because it's not just one thing. It's a combination of things, right? Your physical body is not just a physical body. It's a spirit. You have an essence. You have a soul. It's like so many things. So by the time I arrived here to New York, I was a wreck, an emotional wreck. I was so dysregulated. I was so angry. I was even jittery. I had been through so much frustration the last few days and so much anger that when I arrived to my home that is just full of peace, it felt like I didn't fit. Like I was jittery and nervous. And that was one of the main reasons why I didn't want to make this video when I first arrived, because I had to give myself time to calm down. I was even so upset and dysregulated that I even picked up a fight with my specific person, and then I was nervous about that. And then I just had to be like, I have to give myself grace. And even though I feel like shit right now, this is going to pass. So that leads us to the topic of this video. I feel like I have finally cracked it, you guys. I have been speaking about this for a minute, but we're going to speak about it more because sometimes you need to listen to the same thing several times before it clicks, okay? How do you manifest with trauma? We know how hard it can be to try to get a new story in when you've never even had, you know, anything close to it. You don't even think that's an option for you. So let's start at the beginning. We know that we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. We see the world through our own filters. And what are those filters? Those filters are your traumas, your opinions that are also created upon your trauma, right? There is a whole layer of things that create your filter. And so you see the world through that filter. You need to clean the filter. But what happens is that this filter comes emotionally wired, right? So we know that the body holds the energetic charges of your trauma. It holds, you're holding your trauma in your body. So when you are trying to manifest anything and you constantly hit these roadblocks, you constantly get triggered, you constantly get these strong emotional reactions. Like, for example, you know, I haven't spoken to my SB today, let's say, and then immediately I feel like I am not a priority. I feel like I'm not loved. Those are triggered based on your limiting beliefs that were created by all of these things. So I actually forgot my train of thought, but you have to continue to do your manifestation routine, and simultaneously you have to target your emotions that are stuck in your body. So I'm actually going to even push EFT tapping more than I already do, because when you tap, you're actually getting in touch with your body. So Ho'oponopono is amazing, but I've always said before, Ho'oponopono is more like, at least for me, when you have a broader problem and you're not necessarily able to identify that feeling. But when you do EFT tapping, you are targeting that emotion, you're targeting that feeling. So you're affirming, and if you saw this on my finger, this is a counter for me to do my affirmations, as I go around and do things for the rest of the day. Let's say you want to manifest communication. Let's go back to that one again. And you're affirming, you're doing your meditations, you're either scripting, writing down your affirmations, whatever techniques you are doing, you are going to get triggered. Emotions are going to come up for you. They're going to feel like shit, and are going to tell you that you are not receiving communication. So you could be affirming, my person calls me every day, my person calls me every day, my person calls me every day. And then you're going to get emotionally triggered, and you're going to feel like, no, he doesn't, but he hasn't called you today. Or you start to get angry. What are you going to do? You're going to take a second, you're going to breathe, and you're going to tap those emotions out. You're going to release those emotions from the body, and then you're going to continue doing your affirmations. And when you get triggered again, you release it again, and you keep doing that over and over and over. Your body is asking you to release these pent up emotions so the new thing can come forward. I really wish I knew this at the beginning of my manifesting journey, because I really thought that when I would get triggered or when something would not go my way, I would immediately think that I was doing something wrong. And if anything, when you start to get triggered, when you start to get these emotions that feel uncomfortable about what you're affirming, then that is actually telling you that it's working. So what we're doing is we're making it easier on us, because we know that these emotions hurt. And the more that you keep on pressing against them, the more they hurt. And you can go about it that way, but it's harder. It's harder to wrap around. Trauma has emotional charges that are very strong. Very strong. That's why there's EMDR. That's why there is hypnosis. Because it's not something that is even conscious. It is a subconscious thing. It is something that is already in your body. And now you're going to start using EFT tapping to release it. So with that being said, I'm going to be coming up with a bunch of new EFT tappings. I'm going to try to keep them shorter, that are going to be specifically for you to release that specific emotion as it comes up. So you know that I have already videos, EFT tapping videos already out there, like 5-7 minutes. Those are great. But when you're doing something and you get triggered and you're like, oh, I don't feel prioritized, there's gonna be a little video from me on how to release the feeling of not being prioritized. So I'm going to start with the basic ones: not feeling prioritized, not feeling wanted, not feeling loved, not feeling chosen. We're gonna start with those. And then if you have any other topics that you want me to add the little video for, just leave it in my comment section. Of course, you don't need me to guide you on how to do that, but I think it's easier when you're in the midst of these emotions. Your mind gets closed off. So if you have a little video that you could just, come here, it's so much easier. You don't have to think about it. It'll be there for you. And we're all helping ourselves out. As I learn, you'll learn. And we're gonna get through this together, because we're a family. And now we understand that we are worthy and we can do it. And there is a light at the end of the fucking tunnel when it comes to your trauma. You are not defined by your trauma. You are not your trauma. I know that I speak a lot about it, but it's also necessary to understand that it does play a role in how your body reacts, in how you're able to manifest things. It plays a role. But now that we know that, we're not going to be a victim of our trauma. We're going to understand it's there. We're going to work to heal it, and we're going to keep moving forward. Okay? Because if anything, what that does for us is create amazing, strong beings that are able to share their knowledge with the rest of the world. And we know that a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are in pain. So pay it forward. The better you feel, the better you can tell others how to also feel better, because we all deserve it and we're all worthy. And as always, if you want coaching, my information is in the description box below. I love you guys, and until next time, bye.